pleasant blue sky stretched overhead. It was the morning after the mission. Mekamaru was sitting on a bench in the courtyard of Jujutsu High. He vaguely pondered what the clouds, white and drifting slowly overhead, resembled. Light footfalls approached from the direction of the school building. He lowered his eyes to see Miwa. "Mekamaru!" she cried.
Miwa?
He asked. "What do you mean, Miwa? You went off on that mission and never stopped by the classroom after. I was wondering what became of you." Mekamaru was quiet then. "Why so silent?" Miwa asked.
You were worried about me.
She made an indignant face. "Of course I was." Kokichi figured that he would have been worried about his comrade if he had been in her position. The fight, however, had happened to a substitute body in a place outside the city. That she thought her concern about him was a matter of course awakened a funny feeling in him. Mekamaru paused before once again looking up at Miwa.
Miwa,
He said. "Yes?" she replied.
I'm back.
"Yeah, well, welcome back." Kokichi felt like that brief exchange lasted an eternity. Satisfaction and a touch of sadness filled Kokichi's breast. Miwa couldn't look inside him to see his complicated feelings, so she just smiled. "But you could have said it a little sooner," she said.
Well, I felt awkward about it.
He replied. "Why?"
Because the scrunchie got ripped off.
He admitted. "Oh," Miwa blinked her round eyes empathetically. "You worry about that kind of stuff, huh?"
Is that surprising?
He asked. "Well, I still don't know a lot about you," she replied.
And you worry about that stuff too, huh?
He asked. "Is that surprising?"
Not at all.
He replied. Miwa laughed at how naturally their banter came, but Mekamaru didn't. He didn't have a function for laughing. Kokichi, however, glanced away from what Mekamaru was showing him and looked around in the dim light of his room at piles of folded clothes. He had the burnt keychain inside of a pocket. If he told Miwa that he had been careful to bring back her gift, how would she react? He felt it would be a horrible waste to see that through Mekamaru's eyes, and instead imagined what a sight that would be. Only then did he realize the importance of announcing one's return. For that matter, how would it feel if he ever told her, "It's been nice to get to know you"? When she learned what he had done, what kind of face would they all make? He wouldn't mind it if she seemed confused or displeased. He just wanted to see it with his own eyes.
Miwa,
He said. "Yes, Mekamaru?"
I'll come see you soon.
He couldn't bring himself to say it, so he just said,
Never mind.
Mekamaru didn't laugh. He didn't shed tears, but that was only because he didn't have a function for showing emotion. At that time, no one even knew that small fact about him. All right, y'all. That is the final section in Mekamaru's chapter. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Dry the tears, get the tissue box away from you, because next chapter, you're in for some giggles. I just want to say a couple of things about this chapter before I give you a teaser on next chapter, though. I would have loved it if we saw more of these types of interactions between Mekamaru and Miwa. They are so adorable, so sweet, so wholesome, and it really, really gives you an insight into the type of stuff that Mekamaru deals with. Like, how many times do we get reminded in this chapter that his robot body does not have the function of emotion? So it's like all of the care and all of the assumptions that his classmates are making about how he feels about things are literally just that. They have no idea. He doesn't make facial expressions. Sure, he can make noises and stuff, but I mean, we read micro expressions on people's faces constantly for our cues on how they feel. And if you can't do that with Mekamaru, even vocally, it is amazing how much of a bond Miwa, Mai, Momo, Kamo, Toto, how much of a bond they all have with him, even though he doesn't really respond to feelings. Not that he doesn't, he can't. His mechanical body will rust if he cries. It doesn't have the DLC for laughing. So it's just heartbreaking that he literally has to go through all of this so alone. And when I say all of this, what I'm referring to is what the anime onlys will find out at the beginning of the Shibuya incident. I will leave that there. Anyway, next chapter we have Ijiji, Gojo, and Shoko in a bar. Look forward to it. And I will see y'all there.